Alright, today I plan for another kind of JoJo video. And this one's somewhat of a Christmas themed what if. Today we're going to talk about the idea of Giorno having the world. Now, if you're wondering why this is Christmas themed, metaphorically speaking, this is, like, I remember hearing this somewhere, but, Araki based the idea of Giorno off of Jesus, I think, or something like that, because of the life-giving, and Dio standing for God in Italian, and Diavolo standing for devil in Italian, even though in all actuality that's all just a coincidence, and the only reason Araki gave Giorno life-giving was because Giorno was meant to be a girl. And the more you know now. So, we're going to talk about the idea of Giorno having the ability to stop time. How would our story change had Giorno gained this ability to be able to stop time whenever he wants? And after all, last week he talked about the idea of a stand user in a part having time stop. So, what happens if part 5's main protagonist was a time stopper instead? So, we're gonna see. How will our story change when Giorno awakens his time stop ability? So, the only part we're going to talk about is 5 because parts 1 through 4 don't have Giorno, and part 6, Giorno never comes back, so we're just only going to talk about 5 today. So, with these changes, it means Giorno is going to be easier to avoid Koichi. So, Giorno could actually get away with stealing Koichi's luggage. Maybe not, and that whole thing could go the same. Giorno with Time Stop would just destroy Bucciarati. He could also kill Luca with Time Stop as well. Honestly, everything Giorno was able to do with Gold Experience, he'd do with the world, but better. Popo, hard attack, it's hard to say the lighter would actually get killed. So, yeah, Giorno could actually, earlier on, we're gonna change. What else can change? In the next big arc, we would have the Sal fight, which Giorno can instead use the world's abilities. He could have either Bruno tell him to jump in there, and this time it's over. That's the case, and the fight can go the same. Everything like that goes the same with Mario and Cell. So, same with Formaggio. Now Aliso maybe goes the same, but that all depends on, the thing with that is Giorno gets infected with the virus, and without Gold Experience as life-giving, Giorno's gonna die to Purple Haze, meaning the story's just over there. But let's just say for the sake of the story, Giorno doesn't and instead finds a new way to position him. Or Fugo could be the one to position into a certain place to Purple Haze to kill him, because Fugo, quote-unquote, has an IQ of 152. So, either way, Giorno would be able to survive that fight. Next fight he was in was Malone and Babyface, which Gold Experience was kind of needed there, because he was able to chop off his limbs. And plus, range-wise, chances are Giorno's dying here, unless we make up an excuse that time stop. Maybe before anything could happen, Giorno could just stop time, move himself out of the way. And yeah, really, causing constant time stop here. Shows that for year, but the cons are he doesn't have his gold team. That we're gonna get a first half here because there's no way to save him. We're already killing off someone in the first half of the story at this point. Bruno would also die, by the way, to Diavolo. So yeah, now in the first half of the story, 2 people are dead, maybe 3 if Trish is still alive. I think Giorno could still save her, and maybe in this timeline, Fugo could go. I doubt he would. So instead it'll be just Giorno on his own, and maybe if Bacchio and Narancia could go. We'll just say they do go to make it a little easier. Clash and Talking Head, Narancia cuts off his tongue, meaning he'll probably be never able to speak again in the entirety of the story. If not the case, then maybe we could say he doesn't cut off his tongue, something else happens. Or he can just have a similar story to Kakia when he's out. And maybe if Speedwagon Foundation somehow get involved in this universe, maybe Koichi gives him the number, maybe get a fake, replacement tongue, and then he could live the rest of his life normally. Bakio's still gonna die here, because there's kind of no way to prevent that. And then Chocolate and Seko. The big change here is now you need like a one-on-one, or maybe you can just have Giorno just stop time and kill Seko before he becomes a big threat, which is the route I'll go with. Narancha could probably take Misa's spot against Chocolate, and he'll be the final big boss battle. Now, Diavala versus Giorno would be interesting. Time Stop versus Time Erasure was always the longest debate in JoJo. Heck, that's why people always like to ask the question, Jotaro versus Diavolo, who's gonna win? So, in other words, unless Giorno's able to time it, I think he wins. As for what Requiem World would be like, infinite time stop. And probably time stop to be able to stop, like, maybe he can move in Diavolo's time erasure thing and attack Diavolo while in it. He can also stop time and undo the effects of the time erasure. I don't know. You can make up your own TWR. So, yeah. The World Requiem happened and he's destroyed. So, in other words, easy collapse in a way. In conclusion, the World Requiem does help, but in the long run, we lose Mista. I mean, that's not really a big deal. Like, legitimately, we have, like, the original deaths. Maybe Naruto can actually live in this timeline if you so desperately need 4 members of the group to still be alive by the end of the story. Then maybe Naruto can be alive instead. If not the case, then Mista. Then if not the case, then Naruto's still dying, and there's 3 people still alive, I guess. But that's the story. I was honestly expecting it to be like a complete and utter like carry at one point, only to be squashed. And it was kind of right, I guess. A lot of the fights are mostly the same, I guess. Like, legitimately, if I miss out of some fights, you can tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and then next week we'll have my final video of 2022. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.